Good morning, afternoon, and evening, wherever you are, and welcome to another NerdTube Dragon Ball Daima review. Today we are talking about episode 6, simply titled Lightning. Now, before you think that this is a Final Fantasy 13 episode, it is not. I am joined by my Z Fighter in Arms, Major Rage. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Excited to talk about this week's episode.
So, this episode, um, I'm not saying it's a bad episode, but I'm kind of almost getting tired of the journey at this point. You know what I mean? Like, I was kind of hoping by this time we would start to see some of the major plot like start to filter in, like maybe getting to the first Dragon Ball and everything. I know they're trying to like get our characters moving in together and trying to show off Glorio's power, but yet Goku still owned him, which like I mean, besides a couple gags here and there, I didn't really see the point of this episode, truth be told. Um, Still a pretty good episode. The fights, the animation at this point is just stellar, but that's kind of the baseline of the whole show. So yeah, I know they're going for like season 1 of Dragon Ball, like like in the Pilaf arc adventure where it's just kind of slow burn through, but I'm kind of like, yeah, we need to at least start to see some of the meat and potatoes. We saw no Goma, we saw no Goma and his lot at all throughout this episode. It was just kind of like this bottle episode of them in a cave. So yeah, Mage, what did you think of this episode?
I actually enjoyed this one a lot. Um, the peel-off style journey thing isn't wearing on me as much. I liked the reveal that Glorio is in fact working for Dr. Aransu. I enjoyed getting to learn a little bit more about the Glens and their lore.
So, but here's my thing with that is like, I'm kind of in a mode of show me. So I'm kind of in a mode of like, why are we not going to? Maybe we could have learned all this by going to Universe 2 or Demon Realm 2. You know what I mean? Like maybe they could have shown this rather than tell us.
That's a very fair point.
So again, as I said, I'm not hating on it. I didn't hate the episode. It was an enjoyable episode. I just overarching wise, I'm kind of like, okay, I'm ready for a little bit more meat here. Like I'm ready for a little bit, I know we want to, and I'm not even talking about like the fighty, like get us to the Tamagamis and at least see what one of those are like or what's involved with that or get us something. I mean, even if they did an episode, this episode was more centered around Vegeta, Piccolo, and all of them back on Earth, maybe doing stuff. It would have been a nice break. Sorry, Rager's playing with a squeak toy now.
I thought
But
you
yeah,
got a bird for a moment.
right. I do actually have two birds. I have two parakeets.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah. Anyway. But yeah. So yeah, as I said, I'm not sitting here saying, oh, the season shit and it's going to hell, and I'm not saying that. I'm starting to wear a little bit on the format. So I don't know anything else, but like overall, before we kind of talk about the episode as a whole, or as a kind of break it down a little bit.
Uh, no more overarching thoughts out of me.
All right. Well, we pick up exactly where we left off last time with the ship crashing. It was too full. We already knew that. They emptied some of the stuff out, and Pansy gave the airplane a look a once over. Just kind of making sure everything's looking okay. But they did leave like a whole like wagon full of stuff behind at this point. And this is kind of where they talk a little bit about the glins and everything like that, explaining to Pansy like what they are in the real, they call it the real world. So that's kind of weird that they call it the real world when it's kind of like two different dimensions. So because I remember them saying, at least before, they said, oh, so you're like God's in the real world.
I
But
thought I read it as outside world.
oh, maybe it was outside world and I just read it wrong. Maybe I read it wrong. That might be true. This is why I should take notes, but I don't because I'm bad at this. But anyway, so yeah, we get a little more exposition there with Supreme Kai and Goku and Glorio. And another thing that I'm kind of worn on is the whole like Goku can't get Glorio's name right. Like I think even Glorio's kind of done with it. He's like, dude, my name is Glorio. Like, and I'm kind of
But
like, dude,
Goku's getting
like,
he's getting closer though. A little bit at a time, he's getting there.
yeah. I don't know anything about that exchange you want to bring up, or I mean, it was just kind of an exposition dump.
I think it's cool that they come from plants and or trees rather.
That was actually explained before in like extended lore in the I don't know if it was the guidebooks or in like like heroes or something, but it was already put out there that they come from plants. So, which is interesting, and and I don't think though they were ever really said from the demon realm though. I think that they were. I think that they just said they were from plants, but it wasn't actually like you know. So then Goku's got a poo. So
Right.
yeah, so
10 of
Goku
10. Poo poo
Goku
humor.
has to go poo. Pansy basically almost wipes him out with a roll of TP, and good thing he did when he did because Goku is exactly what the Imperial soldiers was what I'm calling them was looking for when they got there. Um, did you think that I really thought that Goku was going to walk out around the corner like, "Hey, have you seen a spiky haired guy?" And they're like, "No." And like out of nowhere, Goku would be like, "Hey guys!" Like right behind him, like holding the toilet paper still. Like, I'm done pooing. Who are these guys? Like I was waiting for it, but that they did not go the gag route, which is fine.
Had a little bit of suspense there, and that was good.
Yeah, I mean,
Just
the problem is like with suspense, it's like it's not like they were in any danger though. Like,
no, none at all.
so yeah, I mean, so they passed the Imperial checkpoint or whatever you want to call it at that point, and they continue flying, and they realize that they're gonna have to sit down for the night. And oh no, they left all their camp stuff in the when they dropped everything off to lighten the load. So Glorio says, "We'll find a cave." Okay. Um, there was a little bit more exposition in there about Shin's brother and his sister scientist, which so she's the older sister, he's the younger brother, I believe. I think Shin said he was 217 or something when the guy was born, and then um the
And
girl was much older, I think, than Shin was. So
he also pointed out that they don't really have genders. Watch
that was
out.
going to be my
Whoa,
next point, but yes, that
watch
is
out.
yeah. So they don't really have genders, even though they call them him and her,
They
right?
use the pronouns, yeah.
So I get it. I get it for him using the pronouns for simplicity's sake. You know what I mean? Like he's just like he's like, oh, she looks like, or it looks like a girl. They look like a girl. So I'm just going to say she and not make a big deal about it. Okay. Um, but yeah, I mean, I guess that tracks. I guess I mean it just depends. Like how they're made up. So it's just new lore that we didn't know about the Shins. You know what I mean? I just always assumed that there were girls and guys. But, um, so yeah, they go to settle down for the night, and they're in a cave. They start up a fire. Um, Goku eats a ton of canned food and stuff like that. He gets the normal like protruding belly as he's like laying like flat on the ground, looking pregnant. And then the next scene it's gone. But that's the signification that Goku is full.
Yes. You have to show that he's full or else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, so so I mean they're all kind of heading to bed and everything like that. Um, and we find out what you revealed earlier that Glorio is working for Shin's older sister. I don't remember her name, but
Aransu.
how is it?
Aransu?
Ardensu. So you just need to do these reviews because you're so much better at this than I am.
No, no. Teamwork makes the dream work every time.
That's true, and you do our Star Trek reviews, so it's only fair. I just suck
Only
more
fair.
than you. So, and everybody needs to remember that come Golden Glasses time. I'm just saying. Even though I'm not on the ticket this year, but still. Anyway, um, okay, so yeah, I mean, so we have some conversations. Goku's passed out. Um, yeah, anything you want to add about the conversation before we get to the big reveal that we mentioned a little bit ago?
No, I think I did a good enough job of spoiling it early
Yeah, that's fine.
already.
So yeah, so the reveal is yeah, that Glorio's working for he's Riker, man, my dog. He's working for Asuda, whatever her name is. And Suna. I don't know. So what do we think is going on here? Do we think that this is just another faction of trying to take King Goma's throne? Like, is this, is she just trying to get King Goma out of the way so she can take the throne, just like the third Demon Realm King?
I think that they want the artifact mentioned in episode 1. The evil third eye, I believe it was called.
Yeah, but Goma's the one who wanted that. They weren't even really mentioning that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Right.
I guess it's a good way to foreshadow it without making it their intentions clear, like her intentions clear. But I guess, yeah. I mean, I could see it, but I was thinking it was more of a play for the throne. But you never know. I mean, it could be. Good prognosticating there. We'll see what happens. Okay, so we move to they smell, or well, they there's some rumbling going on, and then so Shin, Pansy, and Gloria, or no, I'm sorry, Shin and Glorio wake up and they smell something. Pansy wakes up as it's get closer, and it turns out to be a big would that be a minotaur, right? A
It is a
minotaur?
minotaur.
Yeah, I always get centaurs and minotaurs confused, but yeah, so big old minotaur with red eyes, and he seems very threatening for now. Um, Good design. I mean, it was, it's very indicative of old Dragon Ball, you know.
Toriyama
Uh
loves his movie monsters.
yeah. But then he really, I mean, again, he just kind of turns him into a big joke, which is fine. As I said, with Goku there, we knew they were not in peril. Like maybe if it was Pansy and Shin on their own, maybe. But like we knew Gloria was strong enough to take on something like that, and we know Goku's strong enough to to take on something like that. So it turned into kind of a gag really quickly, of like, oh, it's just this guy. Okay. And Goku sleeps through I think Goku's sleeping through some of it, and then they wake him up like, and he's like, oh, what is that?
The cow bit where he
Yeah,
keeps
with the
saying he's a
cow.
cow. That he's a cow. I love that.
So anything, I mean, so then Glorio says, or Goku says, oh, I'm gonna fight this thing, and Glorio's like, no, I am. And Goku's like, you sure? He's like, you really don't give me any credit, do you? You know what I mean? Like, and he's like, and Gloria's like, let's take this outside. Like literally, and I think that's right about what he says. Like, let's outside. Let's go outside. And so we get outside. Do you have anything else to add about the cave scene? I think that's kind of pretty self-explanatory.
It's pretty self-explanatory. The cow gag is the highlight of it for me.
Um, so we go outside, and Goku and Glorio start their fight, and again, fight sequences in this show are stellar. I keep getting amazed by the choreography and the choreography and just the beauty of the artistry in these fights. But it was a fight. Goku says he's only going to use one arm, so he's fighting him with the one arm. Who didn't Cell do that? Cell.
Freezer did
Oh,
that.
that's right. Frieza did that. Yes, you're right. On Namek. Yeah, Frieza did that. I don't. And so I mean, yay! Like it was a pretty cool fight. Glorio started using magic, which is awesome because I was kind of hoping he wasn't using ki. I'm kind of glad it's magic and not ki.
Mm-hmm.
Because when he started doing like the little finger ball thing, I'm like, oh, so he
Not
can use ki.
acceptable.
And then they said no, and then he said no, it's magic. I'm like, good. Like it's something different. You know what I mean? It's something different. It's something that works a little bit better. But it still kind of has the same properties of ki, like with Goku. Um, it'd be funny though if like because we don't know how ki and magic would mix. If like let's say Goku started using ki, and then he uses magic, like would one trump the other? Would they cancel each other out no matter what?
That's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
Something I haven't
That was my
considered.
first thought. Um, anything to add about the first part of this fight?
Um, Not really. I like you said, it's kind of become par for the course for the choreography and animation to be completely on point. And they they're trying to put Florio over, and it's not working in the first part of the fight. But I'll let you continue.
So, I mean, we then get Shin saying, "Goku, fight more seriously. I want to see the extent of Glorio's power, or something like that, like the extent of his abilities or power." Obviously, Shin has noticed something that we have not. I mean, because we don't know yet, but Shin knows something that we don't. And so the fight continues. It's a good fight. I love the whole magic versus, like Goku versus magic thing. Just like I've always like Superman versus magic. It's kind of like this weakness that Superman has that it makes sense. Like so, this one's like Goku doesn't know how to handle magic really because I mean.
No.
Majin Buu was made from magic, but he didn't use magic, and that's going to the manga. That's why I loved the idea of Moro so much was because he was a magic user. He wasn't your typical, hey, I'm stronger than all get out. And yes, I know that towards the end of the Moro arc, things kind of boiled down to more of cell like a cell like ending. But there was still like in the beginning and some of the early stuff in the Moro arc, there was a lot of really good and different storytelling through that kind of Vegeta and Goku dealing with magic. So I really enjoyed that. Um, and so so Goku gets a really nice hit in with this power pole. Then he gets disarmed, and then Goku goes Super Saiyan. So we have Super Saiyan. Last week we had false Super Saiyan. This week we have Super Saiyan. So only 4 more episodes to go until we get Super Saiyan 4. Just saying.
Please no.
So yeah, so I mean, anything up to this point, or you just want me to finish off the fight?
Um, I feel like they did a decent job putting Glorio over by having him force to go Super Saiyan. He pressured him to that point, and that shows a pretty decent level of power without it being something unrealistic. Like having a character that could best Goku as a kid just be this newly introduced guy, I think would make a lot of fans angry. And I think I might have been included in that. So I'm glad that they put him over without topping him over Goku, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. So so yeah, so in the end, Goku basically nerfs one of Glorio's moves, which with magic, I don't know how he did that, but maybe maybe we'll figure that out. Um, so he just kind of nullified one of his moves, like he was shooting some laser death beam looking thing, and it was pretty much null. We saw it in the trailer, like we saw that, but we just all I assumed it was key, that he was nullifying because Goku is a master of he has key mastery. So him nullifying an attack like that would be okay. But like this is magic. So I mean, it almost is like they're explaining the things that we don't really 100% need them to explain, and now they're not explaining the things that we need them to explain, like how does magic work versus key fighters and stuff like that. And maybe we'll get the explanation down the road. But, I don't know. Even Goku, like, Goku being like, oh, well, I kind of was learning how to, I was kind of watching and learning how to deal with the magic energy, stuff like that, just little things. As I said, there's nothing. This is not a bad episode, but just, as I said, the type of storytelling is kind of wearing on me a little bit. So Goku then teleports behind him. I don't think he teleports. I think he just moves fast. He doesn't use instant transmission. He just gets behind Glorio, puts his hand on his back, and says, "I win." And then, Glorio says he surrenders. Yay. So it was a nice little fight scene. No stakes really. I mean, it's not like there was anything on the line. Just as you said, like in wrestling terms, putting over Glorio and also making Goku look pretty strong. Obviously getting Super Saiyan back in the fold. Anything about the end of the fight?
I thought that it was just really cool. The ice cold Goku with the basically the I've got you in check.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what are you gonna do?
Well, that's that meme that went around. You really need to worry when Vegeta starts smiling and Goku stops smiling. Like, So that's when you need to start worrying. And then at the end of the episode, we get a little blurb of we're back at the lookout in the outside world, real world, whatever you want to call it, with Bulma finally finishing the plane or spaceship, whatever it is, of Shin's. Kibito, Vegeta, and Piccolo get in. They go to take off, and it stalls and falls. So I'm guessing there's just something with the machine, the Demon World machinery that Bulma's just not getting the hang of. So I'm just figuring that, that probably the what's his face? I don't remember, Yugi. I don't remember his name from last week. That guy. I think that guy's going to show up next episode and bring them over to the Demon Realm. So
yeah,
and that'll be how Bulma, Vegeta, and Piccolo get there.
Yeah, it'll be nice to get the whole team together. It's time, I feel like.
Yeah. So that's kind of the episode. Next week's episode is called Collar, so maybe we're gonna get some explanation on the collars. I mean, I don't know if we need an explanation on the collars, but okay. I mean, you never know. These titles sometimes are misleading. And like, what really had to do this week with lightning, besides his magic kind of looked like the lightning, but
that's it. That's the only connection I can think of.
yeah, that's why I was just kind of like, I don't think it really has anything to do with lightning, but sure. Anything else you want to add? Anything else you want to put out there regarding the episode? I mean, as I said, for me, I really hate underselling the episode, and I know you really liked it, so I'm not trying to like discourage you from liking it, but I'm just like, for me, it's just kind of like, okay.
I see all your points though. They're all valid criticisms and points.
But I'm glad if people like this, if people like the format and people are okay with the dragging on quest, I'm happy for them. I really am. I'm not enjoying the show so far. I'm just starting to feel the wane a little bit for me. So but I'm I'm a little YouTube bitch, so I don't I just complain a lot. Okay. So anything else? What do you want next week? I mean, besides Collar, I mean, do you think the crew's going to get together? Or do you think they're just going to make it over to the Demon Realm and then start to catch up with Goku and company?
I don't think they'll fully catch up in one episode. I think they'll get brought to Pansy's dad's place and kind of get some exposition thrown at them, get them caught up, and get them along the way to catching up.
So you think they're going to take another episode or two to catch up? Like,
afraid so.
Yeah, and I mean, I can see that. Like where we're at, I can see that. Anything really sticking out to you that's kind of bugging you about this? I mean, like about the show so far?
Not really, and I thought there'd be at least one thing that gets under my skin, but I find myself looking forward to it.
I look forward to it too. As I said, I'm not trying to shit on the episode. I'm really not. I'm just I don't know, maybe the first couple episodes gave me like higher standards, and now I'm kind of like, now that this is kind of like a mid episode for me, I'm kind of like, ah, man, blah 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 blah. As I said, I'm a YouTube bitch. I don't, I complain about everything. So, yeah. So let's mark it. I'll let you go first since you're positive Polly over here.
Positive Polly's gonna give it a positively exactly an 8.
For me, I'm gonna give it a 6. As I said, it kind of was middle of the road meh for me. But still above average. As I said, I'm not hating the show. Trust me, if I was hating the show, I'd be giving it a lot lower. But yeah, I hope that we kind of get into the meat and potatoes here very, very soon. About whatever we're doing here. And maybe when it's all said and done, maybe if this was bingeable, maybe it would be different. You know what I mean? Like waiting week to week for kind of the same, like not the same, but like like if this was maybe bingeable, and this might be a better bingeable show than it is like a weekly. And I'm usually not one to say that. I actually don't like binging shows, but I think this one for me might be better bingeable, like where I can watch a couple episodes and then go and then, come back to it the next day and watch a couple more episodes. Then maybe I would feel a little bit more fulfilled in everything that's going on.
It wouldn't feel as stretched out and as elongated.
Yeah. So, I mean, we love the show that, literally stretched out one fight for like, what, 30 episodes on Namek? Was it 30 episodes or was it less? I don't know. It might have been less than that.
Something like that. Goku versus Frieza, all said and done.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, there you guys have it. Dragon Ball Daima episode 6. Next week we have Collar. And yeah, so we're gonna keep doing these reviews, whether you guys like it or not. And just because me and Mage love talking about Dragon Ball. If you have any other ideas, like for some ideas for any Dragon Ball topics you want to hear us talk about, let us know down below. Maybe we'll do like a live stream discussion on some stuff maybe in the near future. It wouldn't be obviously an every week thing, but if we get enough topics that people want us to talk about, maybe we'll do a here and there podcast about topics that the fans bring up. So we'd love to hear from you guys below. Also, let us know what you thought of this episode. Let me know how wrong I am in my ranking. And of course, praise Mage, because he is by far the #1 Z Fighter in arms. We will catch you guys in the next one. Catch you later.